What are those ways? So we've tried for 5.5 years to find a way. And this is not just about Denton. This opposition is growing statewide. And it's not because people in Texas are opposed to drilling. When they first came out with fracking, I wrote letters. I made a spreadsheet and I wrote letters to every operator who was operating in the Barnett Shale, asking them to come drill on my property. But then when I saw what it actually was doing and what was actually happening, I started saying, wait, they're not doing this right. They need to do a better job. But we haven't gotten to better. We're still at the same. Nothing has improved on the grassroots where we have to live with it. Down at that level, it's not improved. The state is not doing a good job of regulating it, so we need to keep it at the local level. And we're being harmed just the same as the people who, you say their minerals are being harmed, but only 2% of the minerals in Denton go to actual Denton residents. The rest of them, they live far away from Denton. So if we have a city where the mineral owners live there and they want to put up with these nuisances, like for instance Fort Stockton, where they love drilling, but they don't like plastic bags. So, let the cities decide. The cities know what they need. It's really windy. It's really flat in Fort Stockton. I can see all the plastic bags end up on their fence, in their trees, in their tumbleweeds. So that's their issue. It's not drilling. But for us, and many of us, drilling is an issue because the industry really hasn't followed any rules and the state's not making them follow rules.
Okay, that's a pretty broad statement.
Well, I had an incident just this week where my city has told me about an incident at a particular drill site. Okay, he received an email. He told me the date of the email, the operator, and what had happened. When I called the Railroad Commission to file a complaint to see if any rules were violated, because they're supposed to report these things, I had a couple of men call me from over there and try to use intimidation on me, try to shut me down. There is no such document. It doesn't exist. Everything is fine. So our regulatory agencies are clearly protecting the industry and not protecting the citizens. And, this is happening too close to our home. So I find this behavior unacceptable, that money should trump human health and our ability to peaceably enjoy our property.
It's putting corporate interest, consistently putting corporate interest above the interest of private property owners.
And we decided we didn't want it in our city. That's why we voted against it.
Well, we've got it in our city.
The thing
but
we're wrestling with down here as lawmakers is at what point, and I don't have it clear in my head yet, but at what point do your rights begin and end, and at what point do other people's rights begin and end, and how they coexist?
It's a democratic process. We put it up for vote, and everybody had a chance to vote on it. We voted. This is what we voted for.
Bipartisan.
It was a bipartisan issue.
Why is it that the oil and gas industry has carte blanche over any other industry in the state?
Because it's money.
There's not any other industries that are being regulated at the state level.
I would argue that they don't have carte blanche.
If you come and you
they get special
drills,
treatment. They get special treatment that other industries don't get.
Otherwise, this wouldn't even be up.
I went to a well site in Denton where they were just starting the drilling process. I wasn't out of that car 15 seconds before I almost passed out. I doubled over, I dry heaved, and I almost passed out in the street. Just trying to be able to just stand there and take a picture. I couldn't do it. And there was a house that was directly behind me. That house is 187 feet from that well. People should not have to live in that kind of war zone. You've got lights 24 hours a day, you have noise 24 hours a day, you have dust and dirt 24 hours a day, you have ungodly smells and odors, and then once they get done doing the drilling and they frack, then you've got all those VOCs and HAPs that are constantly being emitted out of the wells, that are shown proof from floor videos. It continuously happens. TCEQ isn't regulating it, the Texas Railroad Commission isn't regulating it, and we have no faith that anybody here in the state would regulate it. That needs to be controlled. It's a local issue in Denton. We chose to do what we did. Flower Mound has other ordinances, more restrictive drilling ordinances that they already have in place. Those shouldn't be overturned by these bills that are being submitted in the House and the Senate to take away that local control.
That's what I'm worried about too. 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about gas drilling until they put a frac on 10 feet from my back fence. I went to city council every 2 weeks. They would never put it on the agenda to talk about it. Every 2 weeks, I got to speak for 5 minutes. It took us like 4 or 5 years. We worked and worked and worked and fought and fought. And Earthworks just didn't get it. It was a 9-0 vote every single time. And slowly, one by one, they started seeing the light and understanding that, yeah, our ordinances have to be stronger. So